no more.
Yeah, it would have been my first anyway, and it's
Definitely mine.
Yeah, it's definitely like it would have been kind of music that I feel safe enough saying it wouldn't be up your alley normally, Jen. Anyway,
Nope.
it would be kind of
Still not up your alley.
It's like an anchor band.
I
It's
really
like they say,
tried.
nope.
I did. I really tried. I even listened to it while I was cleaning earlier and stuff, and I'm just no. It's not for
your
me.
cup of tea.
Really not my cup of tea.
Not
but like
your
I gave it a
caffeine.
good try. Kind of like, what we were talking about last week and stuff. In regards to that, it's just everyone has different tastes, but I am always willing to try a new kind of genre. And for me, it didn't do anything for me, really. It's not that I thought it was bad. I just didn't think it was very good for me. That's all.
Did you find it weird, the mixture of songs on it, or kind of what
The
was?
flow was odd for me.
That's what I was just going to say as well. Like when I was listening to it, like the best way to describe it was what you were saying previously, Wayne. It's a very experimental album. You can tell that from the start because it's not an album like we were talking about previously where they have like a completely structured out and like you need to listen to the album from start to finish to get the best. These are kind of self-contained. Well, you could, but like these are kind of self-contained songs for the most part, and like you could like put it on shuffle and get pretty much the same feel as you would if you just listened to it from start to finish.
Exactly.
I feel I liked the first kind of the opening song and the first couple songs I liked, and then it went a bit weird for me, to be honest. I
feel like the more I listened, the more I didn't like it, because like honestly for me the first couple of songs fine. I was like, okay, maybe I can get into this, but like the fifth song I was there going, is this ever going to end?
See, I think this is the way that they nearly had the album, is because like the first two songs are probably the most similar to the older albums, but they they're kind of like sinking into kind of like a bit of a different where you kind of go, what the fuck is going?
Well, if that's the way they were going, like if the kind of the end of the album and the middle of the album is where they were going in the future, I don't think I would be a fan of their future stuff. No. But if the start of their album is like what their previous stuff is, I probably would give a listen to their older albums.
Well, their next album is more kind of like, I suppose, punk kind of rock. It's the next album is nothing like this at all, and then the last album that they did is absolutely nothing.
So
every album is different.
Completely different.
Yeah. They pretty much they just do what they want. They're into like loads of different, and as well, I suppose at the time as well, it wasn't seen as being very good having a keyboard player playing in a rock band. It was like, what the fuck are you doing? Whereas this like driven by keyboard and bass at times, because like the formation kind of like the main people in the band, the guitarist was always kind of like secondary nearly, because they had like different guitarists coming in and out, so it was like the bass player and the keyboard player and the drummer were the consistent things. But yeah, I think Patton coming in on this one kind of like really changed things up fucking massively.
Yeah,
because like even
like you can see like they're like, well, I didn't say before like that, like changing it up from their previous stuff, but you could see that they were trying for something and they were still getting their feet on it, and as you said, they changed again and again, so probably it wouldn't be any different in their next album. But I think overall it kind of falls to its detriment a little bit, because while there were one or two songs that I went, okay, I like these, for the most part overall it just felt a little bit disjointed as an album, and some of the songs just in their own right, but like the album, you'd be listening to one and then it just changed to another, and it was sometimes jarring, and then sometimes it just didn't flow right. It felt off.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like, I don't know, from like the first song to I think it was the second to last song could have been totally different bands.
Yeah, you see, that's what they were kind of going. And see, I think that was kind of like the thing that was massive about it at the time. That ended up influencing like a lot of musicians, because it was kind of like this thing where it's like, actually, you don't have to keep writing the same song or doing the same thing, but we can actually
experiment.
Yeah, and play different types of music. Because like a lot of
I totally see that. Like the way they had like all those different kind of vibes and feelings for that, you can see that they really were kind of being very creative, and that,
absolutely,
and I commend them for that, because there was definitely, you can see like a lot of creativity and passion put behind it. But as an actual piece of entertainment, I think that makes it fall. No, it kind of falls flat a little bit. Some people probably, if they go in with their eyes open, that it is experimental and stuff like that, would probably be able to get past that. I kind of went in with no expectations, and that really was one of the first hurdles that I found was a little bit difficult. Plus, it kind of felt like even in some of the songs, it felt like kind of it felt like rough drafts at some points.
Were there any high points or low points? Any songs you did like, or any songs you absolutely hated?
Yeah, like I really liked the first song, and I think Jen, you were saying the same. You really liked the first song and the second song.
Good opener.
The third I liked.
Midlife Crisis was the
that's their big banger.
Their big one, yeah.
I did like that one, but from there on, no.
And then I could say I liked the first three a good bit. I was happy enough listening to like the next two or three, and then the last ones I didn't really like at all.
I think from Everything's Ruined onwards, I just didn't enjoy that much. But from there up, like from Land of Sunshine, is it, to Everything's Ruined, it was like yes, kind of maybe. And then just started like falling off the cliff for me.
I remember the first time I heard Midlife Crisis, it was like before the album came out when they released a single. I'd never heard anything like it, and it was just like, oh my god, what the fuck is it? It just totally not like. I mean, it's hard to go back listen to stuff like fucking, you know.
What about when you were listening to it the first time? Like you obviously probably heard the single Midlife Crisis. You probably assumed it was going to be like. Did it feel weird to you, like that the other songs, or did you enjoy it?
No. Loved it. It was because like there was never heard anything like it. It was just like, this is exactly kind of like I mean, it's not an easy album to listen to the first few times. Like you were saying, it doesn't really flow, but it kind of does. Then when you start listening to it, it's like, oh my god, this makes perfect sense.
You could get into it, like
yeah, because like it's the whole thing. There is a flow to it, but it's not immediately
obvious.
Kind of and as well, it's
as
just
some people like to say, it's a thinking man's album.
Yeah, and like what you were saying, Mark, about the whole thing about where you don't think that it's like kind of you nearly listen to the songs individually. I don't know if it's just because I would have grown up like Jesus. Hell, it's nearly 30 years old, I suppose. Album, but I would have listened to it, only known it from listening to it in the album in sequence. So it's like, even if I put on a song, I feel like, oh shit, I have to listen to the whole album.
The rest of it then.
Yeah, like I can see where you're coming from with that, and I definitely agree. Like once you're kind of used to an album that way, it feels weird. Like when the first albums I really got into, one of the first albums I got into would have been like Green Day's American Idiot, and I would have had that on CD as well. So to listen to an American Idiot, even if I hear a song out and about, I know what the next song is going to be, and I'm like, now that I've heard that, I might want to go off and listen to it.
Feels like you have to go and sequence,
Yeah, well, so I definitely agree with you on that regard. It's just, with coming into it now, it's, with the ease of use and whatnot, maybe it didn't hit me as much. But I did try listening to it from start to finish. I'm trying to do that a lot more with albums to, allow them to digest and appreciate them just that bit better.
But it's a thing, it ended up doing much better over in Europe and England. Than anywhere else in the world, and as well, I think part of it was because on the version that they released over here, they released the version of the Commodore's Easy as a single, and that kind of like got a lot of people into it. It's actually why I got my eyebrow pierced the first time, because in the video of it, Mike Pattons has his eyebrow pierced.
He's cool.
No one had their eyebrow pierced. I never saw anyone with their eyebrow pierced before that, and I was like, I'm going to do that.
Yes, I remember you saying that you went in to ask to get your eyebrow pierced, and they're like, what? I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, and I was like, look, just stick the needle, and they were like, alright, and they fucking jammed it in the back of my muscle.
Painful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like, I mean, I would have probably come at Fate No More a bit later than you did. I wouldn't have had the albums or anything like that until a lot later in life and all the rest, so I would have kind of known them from sort of a best of kind of a thing. But like Midlife Crisis, I've had on a playlist probably for 20 odd years, and it's been on my playlist non-stop for 20 years, and I will still... It's one of these songs, if it comes up, I won't skip it, I'll listen to it, and I'll still fucking bellow along to it.
It's the weird vocals onto it, and as well, there's like guitar in it, and there's samples. There's a lot of samples in it as well, which was like fucking really weird for the time, because that was just a hip-hop thing.
Yeah.
And then the drum beat as well. The drum beat is a classic kind of beat. But like, I mean, a lot of like the first two songs that she really like Land of Sunshine and Caffeine. Land of Sunshine is basically about kind of like, and Caffeine, about like late night kind of like channel surfing, and the lyrics to Land of Sunshine he got from fortune cookies,
really,
and as well from Scientology fucking tests, the personality tests. He put things and as well, it's about a lot of the evangelical preachers that would have been on late night TV. I don't know if you ever read like The Dark Knight Returns.
The Dark Knight Returns.
The comic.
No, I haven't. No, it's just like, what Star Wars movie is that?
I'm surprised you haven't come across that.
But like in it, they have there's this whole thing where it's they try and capture what's going on in the news, like the way it was in the 80s was this whole kind of like fast TV thing. It was like the birth of 24-hour news and late night TV, and they kind of captured that. But like that Land of Sunshine, it's like, even with the thing where they have that, and here's how to order, it's very much, I think if you're born in that period and you grew up in that period, it's that
you will relate to it. Yeah,
it's like that's how it feels like TV from that time. It's really weird. And then Caffeine is just basically kind of like about kind of like fucking kind of like, late night TV and stuff. Midlife Crisis about Madonna basically, and kind of like fame whores. But it's the one, I suppose, I don't know, can you remember the RV one? It's when it gets into the kind of the swing kind of thing, where it's like, I suppose the first massive change in it, where it goes the din, 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 din. And it's like, I'm just sitting here. Yeah, I drink a lot.
Your lovely singing voice, Wayne. Sing more.
But like that one, it's just about kind of like white trash America. And it's just, I love the ending to it, where it's like, just tell them my daddy told me, you ain't never going to amount to nothing.
Yep.
But can you remember that one at all?
Sorry, what?
Can you remember that one at all?
I don't know what you said. I was off in another world.
No, but never mind. But like, I mean, with those, that was like the definite first change kind of
change in pace and change in everything. Yeah,
and but I suppose one of the things that makes it kind of like a hard album to listen to as well, they talk about themselves. Their pace is very much kind of like in the middle, where they don't go like very, very fast or very, very, very slow. So it's, for some reason, they always fall in this kind of like middle beat. So kind of like songs like Smaller and Smaller and Smaller, it's very much a kind of.
And is that a trait? Well. Is that a kind of a trait that Fate No More continue to use, even though they kind of reinvent their style? Would they still have their kind of pacing like that? Is that kind of just their feel, or I think it just album just completely reinvented?
They do tend to have this
kind of
it's a swingy kind of a beat. Like they're not fucking fast and furious, and they're not like overly slow, but they just do have this kind of a swingy beat, I suppose, and that's what they always kind of tend to fall into.
It's just a thing that I don't think they overthink their music at all.
Everything's Ruined, actually.
Yeah, Everything's Ruined was one of the singles off it as well. Yeah, which is like, some people say it's kind of like a thing about like communism and capitalism, but it's, you never know, because Mike Pattons' lyrics are so fucking mental,
open to interpretation.
When I was listening to it, like a lot of them are very, just like, well, some of them are, what you see is what you get.
Some of them are quite obvious. Some of them are about like blowjobs.
But some aggressive. Of them were kind of like just very abstract thing. And you're like, okay, well, fair enough.
Can you remember sorry, go on yet?
No, what were you going to say?
Would Be Aggressive, where it's like the cheerleader chant.
Aggressive, be aggressive. Do you know that one? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, it's ringing a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I think that no, they didn't release that as a single, but that's basically the keyboard player kind of helped with the lyrics to that, or what he did write the lyrics to, where it's basically about forced homo that basically gay blowjobs.
Oh, gay blowjobs. I didn't realize about gay blowjobs.
Yeah, he was like, he was in the closet at that. He came out a few months after we were on tour, but he thought that it'd be really funny having Mike Patton having to sing it, kind of like about people. But it's all kind of like, it's like, I mean, for fucking kind of like a commercial record, there's an awful lot of like stuff on it. But like, I mean, this out of a lot of them, I think, is more kind of like and I take it on my knees, ejaculation, tribulation, I swallow, and then goes into be aggressive.
I wonder what he means by that.
Yes.
He takes it on his
knees. It's all open to interpretation.
I believe it means that, he goes to church every day.
Yeah.
And reads his Bible. Well, if he's closeted, he probably did.
Where a lot of people kind of like, I think, got like, I mean, one of the last kind of jizz lobber. And that would have been like Jim Mart. That would be, the extremely heavy one, where it's like,
I wasn't a huge fan of that one now myself. I know, and knowing Jen's taste in music, I did, as she said, I knew even beforehand that Fate No More was going to be a hard sell. And this album, I don't know if it was this album or Fate No More itself. This album definitely wasn't the right way for myself anyway, kind of to get into them, because it was more stuff that I kind of just found discordant and just a little bit off than stuff that I actually enjoyed and kind of really could get behind. But
See, they'd love that.